Hey, I see you. You're a dedicated creative musician, artist, performer, or entrepreneur, and you're looking forward to that next big step in your creative life. There's one big problem. You're trying to achieve those goals without looking after the one thing that will help you keep yourself at that level, and that's your health. You see, so many of us as creators, we get so consumed with chasing the dream, with hustling, that we actually neglect the very thing that will help us protect the success that we're trying to achieve. Because if you're not living healthy, if you don't have a lifestyle that can sustain you, give you energy, clarity, and motivation, and just overall physical health, well, whenever you reach that goal, you're not going to enjoy it, or even worse, you might find yourself facing a deeper and more serious consequence of not taking care of yourself. That's why I'm so glad that on the show today, we have a guest, a fitness expert who specifically goes out to help creatives like us. I can't wait for you to meet my new friend, Trey Da Fit Artist. But before we do, let me just welcome those of you who are new to our show, and then we'll get right into this fascinating and important conversation. Hello and welcome to our show. Thank you so much for making this podcast a part of your creative day. And if you're new to our show, you're in the right place at the right time. And let me tell you why. As a musician, artist, creator, freelancer, anyone in the intersection of the arts, ministry, entertainment, and content creation, you have a heart for God, you want to please Him, but you also want to do all of this with excellence, well, you're in the right place. Because here at God and Gigs, we help you to become the creative that you were created to be by connecting the dots between your spiritual life and your creative life. And one of those dots we have to connect is the dot between our physical health and our creative success. And that's why I'm so glad that I have Trey, the Fit Artist, here in the God and Gig Show to talk to us. Now, he is a creative himself. He's a musician. He already knows the creative lifestyle. But more importantly for us, he's able to tell us why fitness has to be a part of that goal, a part of our lives. And let me just tell you that he was super transparent about the fact that he has to follow his own advice as an entrepreneur. He knows what it means to hustle, to try to build something, but he also knows the consequences when you don't take care of your health and you wait for the right opportunity or the perfect time to start your fitness journey. We're going to hit those excuses that sometimes we make where we're too busy or we're not a fitness person, quote unquote. And he's going to help us to see what it takes to simply build those habits that will make you more happy, more prosperous, more healthy, and at the end of the day, a better creative. So this conversation is one of those that you really need to dial into for the whole conversation. Even if you're not so much into fitness or you don't think you have an issue with your health, I suggest you really pay attention because this could be a life-saving interview. Here's our talk with my good friend and amazing fitness trainer and entrepreneur, Trey, the Fit Artist. Welcome to the God and Gig Show, my friend. How you doing, my brother?
Man, thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing, man. Now, I got to admit, even as I start this, you're probably used to this as a personal trainer. People feeling guilty the second they show up in front of you. So I already feel guilty the second because I overslept and didn't do my run this morning. So I already feel this kind of like, all right, I got to explain myself to him.
I don't know what that is, man, because I have, it's funny you mentioned that because I have actually ran into people and so forth. They know that I am a coach or a trainer, and they just start just confessing. Like I asked them, what did you eat? Or did you work out? So I even made a skit like that. Like it's similar to like how when you run into a preacher and so forth. So that's definitely fitting for Guys and Gigs podcast. So I don't know what that is, but
that is so interesting you said that. Yeah, but you're right. Like it's kind of like they have to confessional because once you see someone doing something that you know you should be doing, your automatic comparison is they're going to call me out, judge me. And it does. Okay, we're going to put it in the positive light. It does call you up, right? Not out.
There you go.
But it does encourage and motivate you to do something. So just by your name alone and by your profession, you have that effect on people to help them. But we all know in this internet space, people are getting to know you for the first time. People have to do the whole bio. They probably heard me already say the bio on the intro. But what I like to do is this, man. when people meet you for the first time, you usually only get like a 30 seconds, right? So I try to ask people, instead of reading, oh, all the things about you, what are those two or three things that you really feel are important about you that you want people to remember? Not necessarily everything, but like, hey, it might be husband, might be father, might be, hey, I care about this or care about that. But what are those two or three things that when people meet you for the first time, even if they don't know you're a personal trainer, what are those things that you want people to know about you, the person?
Um, Good question. I would say I'm a genuine person. I really that's one. I truly want to help you, in a way possible that I can. And third thing, I'm human, just as you are.
I like that. Yeah, just because you have a certain job profession that you help people to get, doesn't mean that you're not that you're superhuman
Right.
or that you have some kind of like special quality or special power. Which I love about this because when I started reading about what you do, it obviously resonated with me because we're talking to a community of creators, artists, performers, people who create for a living or have a passion for it. And as soon as I looked at your bio on Podmatch and it said creatives, people that you are inspired, a passion to help them, I was like, well, he's out to help me. He's looking for
Right.
people like me. So I guess the first question is to ask you, where did you get your passion for fitness? And then the sidebar, obviously we'll get to that later, is how did that turn into the passion for creators? But first, let me ask you about the fitness part. Where did your passion for fitness and health come from?
Well, I've been pretty much athletic growing up. Seeing my dad, he was pretty much a big bodybuilder back in the day. You can kind of think of him doing push-ups. I'm on his back at a young age, and then until I got older, he got me into got me in a couple of gyms that he was going to and everything, and then I also got me my first gym set when I was like 15, and kind of gave me pointers from there. And I was playing basketball and, like I said, pretty athletic. I wasn't really like fully into fitness, but I was always doing fitness type things. But I didn't really get too like really involved in bodybuilding, working out, and so forth until around 19 when he was diagnosed with cancer on my 19th birthday. And shortly after that diagnosis, he got me and my folks, my mom, sister, in the gym. That was our first gym membership. So and basically could say the rest took off from there. Mom and sister, they didn't stay for too long. They maybe was in there a good week, 2 weeks strong, and then they was gone. Now, and even including myself, I would like work out 2 weeks strong, maybe not see me a week or two. Then but I was still consistently inconsistent, if you would say, and I would, until I started seeing results. People started coming to me, started asking me questions, wanting to work out with me. That's when I got that bug for as wanting to do this more fully and strongly, and that's what it picked off there. The results, I got addicted from there, and that's how it took off. Yeah,
Man, well, two things that immediately stuck out to me. One was that shock of hearing that diagnosis, right? That kind of
right.
motivated your whole family. It sounds like just to, hey, like this is serious. This is life threatening.
Hmm.
So now you got to do something. You don't just wait for it to happen to you. But a lot of us, this, I'm sure, in your profession, that we wait for that. We don't get motivated till we hear like something. You've got something. You're going to have diabetes if you don't do something. You got to lose weight if you don't do something. This is going to happen if you don't do something, right?
Right.
So that motivating factor there. Then the second part I love about what you just said is that you entered in as a family and that you made it like something where some people didn't quite stick with it. You stuck with it. And so, more than me, what it takes to stick with something, right? I think 90% of the trainers, coaches, teachers, right? It doesn't matter what the profession or what the skill is. What you really want is somebody who's going to hold you accountable and help you keep doing the thing that you already know that you need to do. So, what is it in the way that you train? Like, how do you help people to not be consistently inconsistent? Because that part, man, it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? You need someone.
Mhm.
So, how do you, like, is there a thing that you could help us to kind of just get that mindset so that you don't even just start the thing, whether it's fitness or whatever, and then just
Mhm.
give up 2 weeks later?
Well, I think when it comes to that, don't have that all or nothing approach. We kind of think, oh well, okay. It's kind of like when New Year's comes in, you have your New Year resolutions. Man, I'm finna do this. I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. I'm finna stop drinking alcohol, whatever the case may be. And you think you're gonna do that all in one time. But when it comes to fitness, you got to think of it as start with one thing that you can do. Like, okay, I'm drinking all these sugary drinks and so forth. Maybe I need to drink a little bit more water. Start there. And, if you only drinking one time a day, drink three times, thinking about water and drinking that. And then once you start building that habit, that will soon snowball or domino effect into other things. Once you made that a habit and a discipline, it will move on to other things and it can grow from there. So it's not all doing everything at once and expecting, the results. Cause yeah, that will definitely have it where you'll start and it might be, you might do good, cause you already in your mind that momentum and you motivated and you might do good for 1 month and then start waning, stuff start coming, life start lifing and things start happening and then you get out of whack and then you kind of get discouraged or you're not seeing the results you're seeing or want to see or something happen and then you just fall out again and then you come into this endless cycle of starting and stopping. So I would say just start with one thing first and then start adding or stacking on other habits and stuff like that. So it's just basically just getting rid of old and bad habits and replacing it with a new and healthy habit.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you just talked about like it's really like those small wins. You literally mentioned water, which is exactly my big thing now. Just to and it seems like the simplest thing, man. Just put up a bottle of water, put it
Right.
down your throat. Like it's not like we're talking about lifting 100-pound weights. We're just talking
Yeah.
about 16 ounces. And like
Right.
you said, I feel like especially now that I'm starting to pivot to where the creators and the performers that you actually reach out to, a lot of us, we understand that concept when it comes to something we love. We understand if I'm a pianist, I love to sit down and spend more time to get that win of I composed a song. I did this. I got on this stage, whatever, right? So we can see the end result. We can see that. But like you said, I think a lot of times it's all or nothing because we don't see the end result of being healthy. You can't look at like, oh, I'm going to be a healthy grandfather. I'm going to live to 80. That looks like that's so far away
Right.
that is not really motivating. So I think what you're saying is honestly like make the win smaller so that you could actually see a finish line because fitness in a way, I don't know, tell me if this is right. Fitness in itself doesn't really have a finish line where it's like, oh, you're healthy, you can stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, you 100%. It is definitely a lifestyle change. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So yeah, it's definitely something that you got to keep doing. Now, once you get to a goal, not to say you can't have a big goal. Like if you it depend on the person, they want to lose 50, 100 pounds, or whatever. Not to say you can't have that big goal, but it's the small steps to get you to that big goal. And I think we look and focus on just that big goal and how far it is. Then that makes us where we get discouraged and stuff like that because it seems so far away. But you focus on those small incremental steps, you going to your goal. As long as you keep moving to that goal, you progress. But as soon as you stop, you're not progressing. Now you're never gonna get there then. But
Right.
yeah, I would say 100%. It's a marathon. Once you get in, let's say for instance you do get to your particular result, then it comes a time where you got to maintain that now. You just can't stop or stop what you were doing. The weight come back on, or you start losing strength or whatever the case may be.
I love this. And so now I got to ask you, man, because you do have this feeling, you even put the fit artist in your brand, right? The
Right,
fit
right.
artist. So just fit and artist together, number one, don't seem to go together. But a lot of us who are like eating cheeseburgers and fries at 3 o'clock in the morning in the studio. So where did the artist part come in to number one, your passion and to your understanding of what artists need? Like what brought that on?
Good question. I would say I am bit of a creative myself, starting out with early origins of me 9, 10 years old, writing poems and stuff like that. Teacher really noticing my talents from then on. Then once I got exposed to hip hop and like I said, and let me go back since we in the Gigs podcast. I grew up in the church, and my grandmama was a preacher. My her son, my uncle now, he's a preacher and so forth. So I was around music, creativity all the time. My mama was in a choir, and she was one of those people that when my grandmama was preaching, she would go around to people, houses or in the community singing and stuff like that. So she grew up in that background. So me going to with hers while she doing choir rehearsals stuff like that. So I'm soaking in all the my cousins, my uncles and stuff. They playing instruments and they playing this by ear, not playing it. They don't know how to read no notes or anything like that. So that's how they did. They ain't never teach us, but like I said, I was soaking all that in. So that comes from on my mom's side is a very creative background. She used to draw. I can draw myself and stuff like that. So I'm very creative. So like when it comes to literary works, drawing and other stuff like that, I just like creating. So it's just started right there. So I would say my for its hip hop and stuff forth, I learned that okay, I can put these poems to a beat, and that's when that took off. So I always wanted to do that, but kind of like frayed away from it because of my background, who my family was and stuff like that. I like nah, they ain't gonna like that or this is that, but that started there. And when I became a trainer, I wasn't really like uh, at the time. I've been doing this over a decade, and I wasn't really like niching to artists and entertainers at the time. Most of my niche was, or my target was, basically a general niche. It was just men and women 25 to 55 wanting to lose a little weight, gain some energy, tone, and stuff like that. But in these other programs or other coaches that coach trainers or coaches, they were saying that you got to niche down. You guys, it's about what you passionate about or either what you're going through when you choose your niche. So I thought about what I was going through, which I don't have a knee surgery. I could talk about that. I had broke my knee some years back, so I could talk about that and help people with issues such as that. But I said, but nah, that's something I ain't gonna be really wanting to do too much, and everything. I went through it, and I can help somebody that I may come to me with it, but it's not the main thing I want to practice. So thing I chose was artists and entertainers to actually hone in on the niche. And so that's when that became there in helping artists and entertainers. So I kind of started thinking about what they were, what they needed, what they were doing, and so forth. With them, like if just to give you some good scenarios, as you already know, some already, like artists and entertainers, they are constantly in the public's eye. So sometimes they gotta have some proverbial image, whatever that image is, is different from person to
True.
person. So they got to look a certain way, and be a certain way. So that's one thing. It can be that vanity point, but then it also can be on the physical standpoint, like an actor wanting to get a certain role. They got to look a part as well, but they want to get a certain role as far as performance as well, like for its action, stuff like that. They got to be moving and agile and stuff like that. So roles like that, a singer might need that energy and stamina while he or she is on stage. They need that lung capacity so they can be able to blow, like they need to and so forth. So and all that comes from fitness and everything. So I was thinking of those type of things, like what could they need, and what how could I help them? What I've already have drawn out, and what I have already structure and so far, like could I help them? So and especially with them being on the road, I'm an online fitness coach and trainer. So I said, yeah, this definitely helps with that. So that they are, I'm in their back pocket, so to speak, where no matter where they go, no matter what they're doing, they can be able to reach out to me. I can be able to help them in any capacity with their busy and hectic schedule, with just with certain workouts that's conducive to what they got going on in their situation. And when we talk about the fit artist, that's just something I was doing that before I even let's say was thinking about doing the niche of working with artists and entertainers. I would like, because I was thinking that when you look at art, your body is a work of art. It's a masterpiece. And, you think of Michelangelo when how he does his artwork and so forth. And also then as well, I'm an artist myself, so there's two. So it's like a triple entendre. I'm an artist myself, and then I'm helping people with their fitness. So the fit artist. So that's a triple entendre, if you want to say, and everything on Trey Da Fit Artist.
Man, you put that together so perfectly. Like you said, like it all just did Trey, right? The three connections there. And
Trey, there you go.
I
There
got to
you
go
go.
back. Yeah, exactly. See, I got you, man. I got you. See,
Yeah.
we got the artists. We think like that. We think, oh, what are all the angles and things like that put this together to make it a complete picture? But I love the fact, number one, that you are talking about,
Mm,
because one of the things I think in my head, and forgive me, this is more like high school bias.
mm,
In my
mm,
head, you get the gym rat and you get the
mm.
artist, and you can't put the two together, right?
Okay.
So you think like,
Mm,
oh, if this person is fit, running and jogging and weights and football and athletics, well, they can't possibly be into entertainment and painting and poetry. Like my personal my thought process unfortunately put that in my head, where there's the band kids and then there's the football kids, right? And that's why I mentioned like it's a thing that obviously is not true. You're an
right.
example of this, where you don't have to have these two worlds that somehow don't collide. I mean,
Yeah.
because why can't I be both interested in being fit and being healthy and playing sports and doing hobbies and things like that, and also be an artist? Like that's not a thing. It's
Yeah.
just that society has kind of made it a thing, right? I remember when Kobe retired and got into filmmaking and these documentaries, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's incredible! We didn't know Kobe had this other side of him."
Yeah.
And again, like I'm saying, admitting like that shouldn't have been a surprise. Like just
Yeah.
because you're creative on the basketball court doesn't mean you can't be creative in
Yeah.
other ways. I love the
Yeah.
fact that you already blew that out of the water.
Yeah.
Then the other thing I want to ask you really is what you kind of started to nail some of these things that really drew you to the problems that artists and the performers specifically face.
Mhm.
And I wonder, and again, I use myself as a prime example. What are some of the excuses you hear from your clients, like the top three excuses of why these programs being fit, trying to get this squeezed into their schedule? What are the top three things that they tell you is why I can't get fit, I can't be more healthy, or why this won't work for me?
Uh, Good question. I would say one would be when you talked about the schedule. I don't have the time. That got to be one of the biggest ones. Two, I'm not a fitness person. You know, and that's one I'm hearing a little bit more and more now. I'm not a fitness person. Like you got to be a certain way to start something or do something. Let's see. Third, mm, um, I don't want to. My goal is not just to lose weight or whatever. So like some people think that fitness is one dimensional
Oh,
where it's only supposed to do certain things. If I want to lose weight, then I'm gonna be a fitness person, or if I want to just get strong, then I'm gonna be a fitness person. They're not thinking of fitness as a means of your this is your life. This is what help you to this the heartbeat of your life. This will help you to keep going, to do whatever you're doing, no matter if it's in the creative fields or however. It help you to keep going even more at a higher level. I would say that would be the third thing that nobody they I would say subconsciously think about when it comes to fitness.
that's a big one. I'm so glad that we sat on that one, right? Because I'll put myself on the example because I don't have a better one that's on top of my head. I'm right now sitting here, at 50 years old. Thank God, as I'm recording, no
Mhm.
major issues, right? No
Right.
major issues that my doctor has told me about.
Yeah, that's good.
And
That's a
so I
blessing,
could
man.
be one of those people that you literally just said, well, nothing's wrong. I don't have a particular goal to be, lose weight. There's nothing obvious going on. So I could just go ahead and continue living my gig lifestyle and, staying out late and eating kind of whatever, because it's clearly not like something that I have to do. And, I think one of the scary parts is of the artist lifestyle is we get so wrapped up in the work.
Right.
Like our identity is in, oh, I'm a photographer, I'm a this. So we see so much of like our identity in the thing we do that we don't think, like you just said, to say, wait, what else about my life needs to be protected, accentuated, and it goes from the excuses to the benefit.
Yeah.
Like if I was working out, I'd be thinking clearer. I might be more able, like you mentioned, a singer, to do this. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what are some of the benefits that people don't realize, especially artists,
Mm-hmm.
that they're missing out on because we think that artist lifestyle, like you said, I'm not a fitness person.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what are we missing out on when we don't like apply the principles you're talking about?
I mean, like I said, you just when you first starting out, I mean, what you doing ain't gonna just last long, especially if you're doing everything at a high level with artists and entertainers. They pull so many different ways. And if you're not focusing on your body, which is your instrument, because that's what helps you to do what you need to do. I don't care what you think. If you think of it like that, and it will help you to look at fitness in a different way, and so forth. So it helps you to do what you're doing at more optimally and at a higher level. So that's what I think they're not realizing. Yeah, you probably a savant at your craft, and stuff like that, but you can even potentially be more higher than that, and also too, it can have an expiration date if you're not really like focusing on your body and your craft and stuff like that as well. Because what we do takes a toll on us mentally, not only physically but also mentally as well. So getting our mental health and everything in order, you can't create if you're in a mental fog. And being and having those demanding schedules and tasks you got to do and expectations and stuff like that can be hard to maintain it. But if you got fitness at the forefront to help you to tackle on those busy days, those times when you feeling tired and so forth, it help you to prolong and keep going more, so you can push it out and be able to function at a high level. If that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I love the fact again that you kind of put it in the terms that it's practical terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's it's not realizing that you're going to need that extra boost of energy right when you need it, right? Right when you're at the end of
Right.
the gig, right when you're end of a thing. But like that exercise you did 2 days ago or 3 days ago, or actually the compound,
Right.
not even the one workout, but the compound of just trying to stay consistent, suddenly, like, you see the results over time. And now, again, I'm using myself as an example. Like I've tried to get back into running, and I definitely can say that my overall productivity has increased.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't put it on just like one day, right? It's not like
Right.
just one workout I did. It's a consistent effort that's
Right.
benefiting me. I wanted
Right.
to ask you honestly about one of these stories where you saw someone who maybe went from I'm not a fitness person to actually. So what have you seen this in action? Like you don't have to obviously name the person, but do you have a
Mm-hmm.
client that kind of represents this? Someone that you could say, oh, because someone else is listening right now. They're like, well, my story doesn't fit. I'm this, I'm a that, and I'm not going to be able to be that person. So can you think of one
Mm-hmm.
specific instance where you had somebody who was on one side and you gave them kind of like that kind of path to get to, where they actually understand the healthy, the reason why they should adopt some of these more healthy habits?
Like, when most times when the people say they have they're not a fitness person, they be kind of the hardest people to kind of work with in a sense. So you got to really before you really even help them with the fitness side of things, you really got to help them with their mental state. So,
Okay.
and getting around it so they can get to the fitness side of things. I can say that I have had a now, but some of them do the job and then and see it's still not a fitness person, but they do the work, and so forth.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's one thing in itself as well. But I can say like I have had a person that wasn't really didn't say the quote unquote I'm not a fitness person, but like was kind of in the gym but didn't really know what to do, and once that person got fit and started seeing certain different results, he kind of like start seeing fitness in a whole different way, where it opened up to he was an athlete before, but he didn't, but when he started looking a certain way, it changed his whole mentality, it changed his whole confidence around, where he ended up, he's still with me to this day, and he ended up becoming an MMA fighter, and so forth. So
Wow.
and yeah, so like it went from him coming to me for just a weight loss goal, and then years later he ended up starting. He said he would never have thought about actually working out, actually becoming an MMA fighter if he hadn't been working out with me. So, he was looking the part when he even went in to start the process and so forth. People was already thinking he was a fighter because of his physique and everything. So, things like that, I would say. The reason why, and where I call my business Next World Fitness, it opens up those new doors, and new, it's a new world that you enter in once you become fit. So it opened up other opportunities that you never thought was possible when you would adopt fitness into your lifestyle. So I would say things like that, would help with if you're not a fitness person. And another way I would say to look at it is, okay, yeah, you if you say you're not a fitness person, but if since we're talking to artists and entertainers, you wasn't a artist starting out, and everything. So until you actually went and did the work, you didn't start just, you might have a little talent, a little bit for as working on the pianos or something like that. You might have some time, but you had to work at it more to even become great at it. So you didn't start out as a pianist, or you didn't start as a rapper or singer, stuff like that. You had to work at it and so forth. So you got to approach it like that, and also too love the process as well, because that's what gets you to doing more of what you want, that you love to do at a higher level. So you look at it like that. Fitness would be something I will always say at the forefront. It need to be come first, and then everything else later. Into everything you're doing, not just your career path, but your relationships, and your well being.
Mm. It's so well said. And I love the fact, like you said, that that man did not know what he was capable of
Right.
until he got into this consistent habit. I'm thinking of like all the major stars in the world, the Beyoncés and the people like that, who, like as they grew, their fitness regimen and their commitment to health had to increase,
Yeah.
because when you're on stages like that,
Yeah.
you already have to be, I hate to say it, at that
Mm-hmm.
level
Mm-hmm.
before you even get there. Like you can't show
Right.
up on a Grammy stage and then all of a sudden try to get your cardio up. Like it's too
Right.
late. like
Right.
like you already have to be at a
Right.
certain level. So I love that, like, you open our minds to say, okay, if I want to perform at this level, I have to start thinking like this and taking care of my tempo, taking care of my body, so that I can achieve this next level, whatever it looks like. Because I don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
You don't know what door is going to be open, what call you're going to get, what tour you could be on. And if you are, like you said, not quite, like if you're still making excuses, when the call comes, you could be either not healthy enough or not, clear enough or disciplined enough to even handle it. So I love the fact that you
Right.
talked about that, like the next world, the next level that you don't know is coming around the corner until you start. I wanted to ask you though, because I really am thinking about your dual role as an artist and as a fitness trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about how you apply this. I want to go put, like I said, I felt guilty. Now I want to put your feet to the fire. And I want to be like, how do you act out these very same things? Because you have a business to run. You
Mm-hmm.
got to create, you got to be on podcasts like this, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you
Yeah.
got a crazy busy schedule. So I'd love for you to
Right.
share, like, how are you handling the pressures of being an entrepreneur, having to be that
Mm-hmm.
person that's on the face of the brand, and
Mm-hmm.
then you got to follow your own advice. So how has this worked for you as far as building your brand and building your business, and trying to follow, again, be an example of what you're trying to
All right.
show people?
Great. Great question. I definitely, man. It is definitely tough. With trying to do both. When I got into it, and like, cause I started like around like officially, like say I'm gonna do this. It was right during the COVID. I guess everybody started discovering themselves, or they're starting a certain whatever they wanted to do, and they just started doing it. But that's what it kind of with me, and I was like writing nonstop then, but I had plenty of time because the gyms wasn't open and all that stuff like that at the time. So, but when we got back into to civilization and so forth, I realized getting more into it that the level of dedication and the work that goes into making music. I just thought it was just I write a song, put it out, and that's it. But it's a whole lot go. But
Yeah.
it's a whole lot that goes into it. So it's its own dedication and discipline within that. And so for right now, how I'm approaching that is that like and to do that to give it the attention and the dedication that it needs, and do my business at the same dedication. That's going to be kind of hard. One is pulling away from the other and everything. Where I'm not focusing on that. Um, so my thing is right now, as I get until I get in business where I got folks under me, where I can kind of step back a little bit and be just the face of my business, my fitness business, and I can have somebody else running the inner runnings or workings of it. Then I can like step back more and pour more into my music and so forth. But as of now, what I'm doing is just like if it's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like I tell somebody to like they say, oh, I can't get it in, or work out this and this, that. I don't have the time. And I always tell them, man, if you got 10, 20 minutes, man, you can do a hit style no matter where you at. You don't got to have a gym and stuff like that. So I do that. So 10, 15 minutes or something like that, even sometimes longer, if I got the time and I fully get in. So sometimes when you writing a song and you really get into it, man, the hours can go by fast and everything. Yeah. So I was like, but in that crunch time, if you just looking for a beat, you got an ideal in your head. Yeah, kind of like take time to put that down and jot that in, and that's what I'm doing. In as I progress into it and getting stuff out. So as a recording, I might I would start recording here and a little there. Not just where it's gonna be a full studio session where I'm finna crank an album out or something like that. But it is get a single out here and there. That's how I'm approaching it now, as well as keeping my same skills. And what I say for is the fitness side of things and doing that with fitness, I always roll with the punches. It's not about my preferred time. It's always my ideal time, what the time that I have. So we all have that 24-hour window. We not busy the whole 24 hours. Is always something we flipping the channel. On TV, we scrolling on Facebook or something, or Instagram, TikTok. We have time to do that. We have time to to get into our fitness, get into our craft and stuff like that. So, and so that's how I would, basically approach that. If that makes sense, if you get what I'm saying.
No, it made brother number one. Thank you for your transparency about just how you're handling those two worlds, because I think that's where honestly, God and gigs and every other community that I'm a part of, that's what I appreciate when people are like, "This is what's really happening,"
Right,
right? Not the pie in the sky. You said the oh well, I do this and everything works perfectly. I love that line. I'm writing this down in my head. Like I got to make a note. Not your preferred time, but your
yep,
ideal time. Like
right,
that because a lot of this is not just time management, but it's mindset management and energy management.
right,
So much of it is like, yeah, like, and you get in your head, like, well, like, again, perfect example is today as I'm recording, missing, getting home I'm literally like your poster child right now, right?
yeah,
Because last night I don't do a lot of late gigs anymore. But
uh-huh,
last night was late night, so I got home 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, needed to do a couple more emails and stuff. So I get to bed super late. And normally I've been trying to get at 5:30 in the morning to start this new routine of getting running. Well, Lord knows my body was not ready, was not
yeah,
going to do that 5:30 in the morning wake up call, right? And
right, right,
so in my head, I feel like, oh, well, failure, missed it, da 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 da. But thank God down here in South Florida, it's not super hot yet.
mm-hmm.
So so I can still find the ideal time, right,
Right,
to
mm-hmm.
get out and not feel like, well, it's impossible. Like you said, 15,
Yeah,
20 minutes is better than nothing.
right,
But and then the second part that I love what you said is you're still keeping that artist part of your brain active.
right,
As I think a lot of us as creatives, we do think, well, like you said, if I'm going to not crank out a whole album, then it's not worth it. But it's the same principles. a little bit here, a little bit there. Consistency is better than perfection. So much of this, like I said, like I love the parallels of, hey, yes, you may not be able to become like, this bodybuilder or lose 100 pounds overnight, but just making some small wins each day in your
Right.
creative life and in your fitness, like both of them are going to work out for your good in the long run. And I think we just got to
Right.
like kind of keep encouraging us. I want to ask you, because this is big for me, community.
Mm. Okay.
What's the value of having that accountability? Not just maybe one person like you and on the phone, on the online. Do
Hmm.
you encourage your clients, the people you work with, to like get into groups, fitness groups, to work out with other people, have a buddy,
Hmm.
right? How does that work in terms of like, because I know a lot of this is, when you feel like you're by yourself, you get
Hmm.
isolated, you get like
Right.
discouraged. So
Yeah.
how do you help people like do this where they have like the connection and they stay with it?
Yeah. Now, when it's client trainer relationship, yeah, you have that where we give that sense of accountability as well. But I always say it don't have to just stop and start with me, or just stop at me.
Okay.
And it is, incorporate other people into it, friends, family members, or if you have a workout partner at the gym or something like that, you go to a group class or something like that. All this is cool, have a sense of, I always say, have a sense of a community, in the regards. It shouldn't just be just me and you, and holding you accountable. 'Cause that can get a little bit mundane, and everything as well. And just like, to me, where's this transactional, where oh, you only holding me accountable because that's what I hired you to do. You know what I'm saying? Other than, now you got somebody around you that pepping you up and everything, that you ain't paying and stuff like that, that can help you go along a lot further, and everything, I would say. And that's another reason why I started my community Fit Masterpiece Lab, because you and Mighty Networks as well, in that regards, where they get that fitness guidance, and also where they will get the community part, not the community part, for us, the fitness guidance that we provide them. Not It's not full on coaching, but is more just guidance and helping you along your fitness journey, as well as they getting that communal and networking vibe and space for meeting other people just like you, artists and entertainers, that they can share their ideas, share what they working on. They might even meet somebody they can collab with in some kind of way and everything like that. So having that full community networking type of ordeal, I think will go a long way, especially with artists and entertainers. We are in a very click type of field, where
Yep.
we have our own certain cliques and people we hang around and stuff like that. So it definitely, I think, fits in that mode where you can bring fitness into the forefront with that as well.
I love this, man. This is exactly what I really feel like. Because I'll tell you what really hit my heart when it came to getting serious about this. And I hate to go back to the negative side, where you get like that wake up call. But it wasn't, well, there was one in my family, but I would say more in the musician world. It was a few years ago that we lost like maybe three or four major drummers and musicians in the hip hop slash soul R&B community. Aaron Spears, and then there was another one, and there's like three or four people like back to back heart attack, stroke, heart
Yeah.
attack, stroke. In their prime of life, 40, 50 years old, black men that look
Yeah.
like me and you, right?
Right.
And it tore me up because I felt, honestly, Trey, that I had contributed to the culture because I hadn't taken it seriously. Because I was one of those cats that's just like, hell yeah, after the gig, we all just going out there to eat fries and burgers. And again, I didn't look like it affected me, right?
Right. Hmm.
But the guy next to me who clearly needed to like take this seriously and like watch out for his weight, I wasn't telling him no. I wasn't saying, hey man, let's get some grilled chicken. Like I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was basically just along for the ride as an
Yeah.
artist,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a gigging musician. And I felt like, man, if I don't start saying this out loud more clearly, I'm part of the problem.
Right.
So I love that you're part of the solution. You just said it. Hey, being a part of a community, getting online, having a trainer, just doing 10, 20 minutes a day of something, because we all kind of
Mm-hmm.
know what to do, but actually doing it is kind of like the thing. So I kind of want you to kind of give that, if you needed to give that speech to someone, say it was someone in your family,
Mm-hmm.
someone that you care about, where, you know, you're trying to convince them, maybe they're not convinced by me just showing up on a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe something you would share that you've already shared in the last 40 minutes would be that thing to be like kind of push them over the hump. So I would just like you to share like from your heart, man. Again, this is kind of like where we're just talking to our brother or our sister or our friend. Is like, hey, we're not just trying to like beat you up, like you said, to be the coach where you just have to stare at me and like you pay me and become, you know. Was there anything you would share from your heart for people where this is not about, like you said, transactional, but really about how we
Mm-hmm.
want them to live a better life?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, like, what you talking about, artists and entertainers in the whole, or just people in general?
Yeah, yeah, just our people. Like I said, like our people. Like I just want them to kind of, because I here's the thing, and I'll be very honest with you. This is kind of off script.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, it could feel like this is just convenient to talk about. Like, oh well, talking about fitness can get clicks, right? Oh well, you know, I'm going to like do play, but I mean, I'm really, again, like when I say I have taken up running, you know, where my goal is to do 5 and 10Ks like consistently. And I just did my 10K the other day and then another 5K. And dude, when I went out the first time, like I couldn't make it 3 minutes without getting gassed. And, you know, seeing my brothers go through that was my
Mm,
motivation. So you mentioned like your motivation when your was your father, right? Who
right.
was
Yeah.
diagnosed.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring it back, you know, to that kind of like
Okay.
mindset where, yeah, so yeah, we're talking to our artists and entertainment friends, like, you know,
Okay.
just
Okay.
just
Okay. I just
yeah.
make so I see how I want to phrase it. And then since you brought back up my dad, so in which he did pass. He
Mm,
passed. He survived almost 8-9 years. And the reason why that was because of his health and physique, and stuff like that. And then as I look at it, as you say, you seen certain people around you, like, get sick and everything as well. That's what it kind of was for me. It's crazy that we can see somebody go through certain things and know is something in their health that they could have did differently, and we still not changing. Even though we don't see somebody go through it, and like I don't want that to happen to me. But for me, when I seen it, I seen my dad. He was trying all type of things and stuff like that. Where he was, is a book. I don't know. It's a book around here somewhere where it was like, what would Jesus eat? He was just
mm,
trying all type of little things, and everything to change his habits and everything. So I would say to that, don't wait till it is too late. That's one thing. Don't wait till it is too late where you start looking at this, where the doctor say this or that, and then now you want to look into being fit, and you want to eat right and stuff like that. When you already, and we subconsciously and even consciously know that what we doing can potentially hurt us and stuff like that. But then until when we start getting sick, this when we want to start changing and stuff like that. So, but just seeing him going through all that, and what and through the whole deal, start losing weight and not really being himself, not being his right mind. That was a trigger for me, and everything. This guy that I don't see, 6'6", 240, and everything like that. That I don't see down to almost nothing, a thin frame of himself and stuff like that, going to the man not even in his right mind and stuff like that. So that was a trigger for me, and everything like that, to get into the gym. And I was glad that he did do that, where, because he seen that, he was like, well, I need to start working. I guess he was like, get my family into this too as well. I guess that was his way of doing it, and it just spiraled into me becoming a trainer. But seeing him go through that, and I'm like, well, let me get my fitness on. And hearing, why the doctor said he survived so long, that got me into it. And now, when we talk about the artists and entertainers, if you truly love what you're doing, for your art and craft, whether you singing, rapping, playing an instrument, acting, modeling, whatever the case may be, if you truly love what you are doing, how long you want to do it for? and is the lifestyle that you are leading, does that help you to be able to do that for years to come? If it's not, then you need to like kind of reevaluate yourself and start making the changes where you can be able to do that for a more longer time. And then not only that is to even enhance what you're doing, because you don't really know what your body is fully capable of doing once you start being fit, once you start getting that more energy, once you start getting more mental clarity and so forth. It will help you to even produce even more into what you love. So use fitness. If you're not a fitness person, I don't want to subscribe to that. But we, just for argument's sake, if you're not a fitness person, be a life person. And everything. Be a life person, and fitness helps you to get to that, do what you want to do in life more optimally and more optimally and in a richer way.
Man, I don't think you realize how many hashtags you just put out there, man. Don't be a fitness person, be a life person, bro.
Yeah.
Look, you are clearly a creator, because that doesn't just come out of nowhere, man. That's bars right there. So, all right. So I know they can follow you by clicking all the links in the show notes. Everybody that's on a podcast or YouTube knows where to find the links, but just tell them one time, just in case they are writing it down, where they can find you, where they connect with you, and where, if they want to have the fit artist as a trainer, how could they reach out to you?
You can find me on my website, nextworldfitness.com. All my links and socials on there, but just to name out a couple of the socials, I would say TikTok is Trea Da Fit Artist, TreaDa Fit Artist. Next World Fitness on Instagram. If you're looking for me on my personal biz profile on Facebook, it's Trey86. What else is this? And I'm on LinkedIn as well and everything. But yeah, all my links are on nextworldfitness.com. You can find me in there. More information on my fitness coaching and training services, the network community that I got going on. And I haven't put my stuff on the podcast and stuff like that, but you're looking to be a guest on the podcast, an artist, entertainer, there's Sculpt and Create. So you can just look for that, and then you'll see a guest application. I probably have the page on my website soon, but right now that's where you can find it. Find me on my actual podcast.
Everywhere that you want to be, man. I love it, brother. This has honestly been inspiring for me. It's made me remind me to stick with what I'm doing, because it will impact both my own life and other creatives that we're caring for and helping to kind of grow and become whatever God has for them. But I love it in life, not just one segment of their life, not just the artist, but to really be just fully engaged in everything they do, because they have that health. Brother, thank you so much for sharing with us on the God and Gig Show. I know this won't be the last time, but hopefully we'll do it again soon. My friend, I hope that blessed you, but more importantly, I hope that it inspired and encouraged you to take your health seriously. Like Trey said, there's so many warning signs that we can miss, things that we can put off and make excuses for, and then we end up putting ourselves in a situation that's so much harder to get out of. So whether you've struggled with your health for a while, whether you have done the yo-yo thing where you start and stop and start and stop, whatever it takes for us at God and Gigs to help you to take this seriously, to take those positive steps toward taking care of your health, we know that that's something that God put on this community as a goal, to make sure all of our creatives are healthy in mind, body, and spirit. So I hope that you'll do that. As a matter of fact, if you would like more encouragement, we've talked with other creators and fitness experts in this very community. Go check out episode 305, godandgigs.com/305, and you'll hear from Gio Valdez, who also shared a story of hitting a health challenge and how he helps creators and entrepreneurs to meet their fitness goals. So as you can see, there's all kinds of resources inside our community to help you take the next step into a better, a more creative, and a healthier lifestyle. Well, my friend, that's all the show we have for today, but I know you were blessed and inspired, and so please subscribe, follow us, and share this episode, because this is one of those things that could help someone else to really make a life-altering and a life-improving decision. So until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. God bless, and I'll see you next episode. My friend, thank you for watching this episode. If that blessed you, you got to make sure that you stay connected with this community and this channel so that you can get more where that came from. We're sharing great interviews, tactics, strategies, mindsets, lifestyle choices, everything is going to help you become a totally confident creative. And don't miss an episode of the God and Gig Show. If you are staying connected to our channel, you'll be able to find us anytime we release new episodes. And you can check out some of our archives of almost 200 episodes now that we've shared over the last few years. Make sure you check out one of the suggestions right now because it's probably perfect for you to continue to develop as a creative. And continue to stay connected with us because we're here to help you become the creative that God created you to be. We'll see you in the next episode.